Welcome to the Black and Green Podcast. It's your go-to place to find the latest high-quality, all-natural products created by Black artisans. Hosted by yours truly, Dr. Kristian H, the founder of Black and Green. We'll discuss all things health, wellness, self-care, and of course, self-love. This podcast features a refreshing lineup of guests, from entrepreneurs and artisans to holistic lifestylists and clean beauty experts, and a plethora of other innovators within the wellness industry. Join me as we learn from the best of the best. Hi, welcome back to the Black and Green Podcast. We're so happy to have you joining us today. Today we're going to talk to two amazing artisans. We're going to talk to Augie and Sylvia, the founders of Dinobi.
Yay.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Well, I was so happy because, as you know, your name's not Augie, but we call you Augie, and I call my son Augie. So I just was so excited to see that.
Oh, your son must be awesome.
Well, of course, I'm going to say yes, it's my son. I think he's the awesomest baby ever. I only have one kid right now, and I tell him all the time he's my favorite kid. But I always make him promise me. I said, all right, now, when I have another kid, you can't tell them I told you he was my favorite. Now, that has to be our secret, okay?
That's how we play the game. Sylvia doesn't do it as much as me, but each one of my kids in privacy is my favorite kid. Like they, you got to work it like that. So, you know, hey, when you get up to our numbers, when you got 4 kids, then, you know, make sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That sounds like my husband. He comes from a family with 4 brothers and sisters. There's 4 of them. Yeah. I can't imagine having 4 kids. Oh Lord, I wanted 3, but I just had 1. I was like, oh Lord, I don't know how many more kids I can put up with because this is some work.
I said I wasn't going to have any. I was like, no, I don't want any. I'm done. I'm good. I'm settled. And then, you know.
What happened? Did you have twins or triplets?
No. No twins.
What do they call it? What's the hashtag? No days off? It was a situation like that, I guess. We just went back to back.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I'm already in it now. I might as well just keep on going.
Okay. I mean, you know.
Fertile ground.
Yes.
That is so funny. And so before we get talking too much, I have to ask you guys, the first question I always ask people is, tell me the story behind your brand. Like, why did you create it?
Well, we just started with, actually for me, it started with needing something to meet everybody's needs because we have a total of 6 people, including us parental units in the house. And everybody's skin needs were different. And I could not for the life of me figure out how all these kids could come from the same place and have such different needs. And I couldn't figure out, eczema. My husband is the first person I'd never seen eczema before because I didn't grow up with it. I didn't know anybody with it, and I didn't know really what it was. I heard of it. So had to start cloth diapering because my daughter's legs were turning black. There was something in the diaper that was sucking.
Girl, I cloth diaper.
Yeah. So, I mean, from there, it just was a search to find something that will work for everybody, something that I didn't have to keep buying 5 different things, and something that was going to be earth friendly because we were trying to be earth friendly. We call ourselves greenish,
yes,
because while we are trying to be earth friendly, you know,
COVID's brought us right back to bleach.
That's so funny. Right. My mama knows I don't have bleach in the house, and so the first thing she did was she called me. She's like, I know you don't have bleach, but maybe you should go get some.
Right. Right. It's amazing how like suddenly.
So we're trying to work away from it now because it's just like, okay, we don't believe in this stuff. We don't believe in all these crazy toxic ingredients. So it made us think about, okay, well, what would it look like for some ideas as we continue to diversify products? But
exactly.
We'll see. Because I hate the fact that we had to go back to that defense mechanism. Yeah. When really, you know, what we're trying to do, what we're embarking on is a journey to make your everyday common things just good for folks. Like
exactly.
My wife was saying, she started cloth diapering. I didn't want a cloth diaper, honestly. And then she brought me the numbers and said, well, we could save like $2,800 on each kid. So I'm like,
and
well,
then you were convinced.
Right, exactly. But back to kind of why we did it, trying not to drag it out too long, but it was really just out of a need of really needing to know what is going on with what I'm putting on the clothes. What is going on? I noticed we were, getting more into knowing what's in our food, knowing what's in our skin products. But then I realized I was like, wait a minute, this is very practical. Why don't we know what's in here? And I noticed that every time I would use a certain type of detergent, there would be reactions from whoever in the house. So I said, wait, why can't we just do this all in one, but do it in a way that's greener, that's cleaner, and that everybody can use? There's got to be a way that everybody can use the same thing for everything, not diapers for this and running athletics uses this type of stuff and so on. There's got to be a way to make it all in one to make everybody's life a little easier.
Well, I'm glad I heard you say that because my son has really bad eczema and my dad has bad eczema.
Oh, wow.
And it's so funny, like as green as I am, I didn't even think about the laundry detergent being a part of that equation.
Yeah, so we've actually got some content coming out on our website, www.dinobidetergent.com. Got to drop that. But, we're doing like overviews on different ingredients that are typically in detergent. The one thing is, again, so Sylvia started the idea. It was completely her baby that she nurtured when she brought it to me and said, hey, I really want to work with you on this idea. I was a little apprehensive at first until I started paying attention. Plus, she had already started taking cash out of the account and like doing all types of crazy stuff.
She just started doing it.
Yeah, I was just like, you are Suge Knight in our bank account.
I believe in myself. Listen,
you do. You do. I went both ways.
Oh,
husband and wife business here. All right. You know who the CEO is.
Yep.
Yes. See, this is what I'm talking about. Anyway. So, so one day I remember I was at Home Depot. Typical. Ooh, that's so stereotypical. Anyway, I'm at Home Depot. I go over to the aisle where they got the cleaning products, and I turn the detergent bottle around, and I immediately noticed that they only put the ingredients that were in the plastic, not the ingredients that were in the product itself. Yeah. And if you wanted to get the ingredients in a product, you had to call a 1-800 number. And I said, I never spent the time to even think about that. Now so my whole career, even before we got to this point, was in education. And all I ever wanted was for students, for kids to be critical thinkers. And I said, here I am kind of passively engaging with the things that I use on my body. And I'm literally in the meeting every day with like scratching my blazer and up against furniture because I'm suffering from eczema and not thinking that it could be anything linked to the detergent.
Yep. So
right then, that's when the aha and the bulb went off in my head that, you know what, I got to get behind my wife, support her fully so that we can, try to show people that there are better alternatives that are out there. And then
Now, what do you teach? Because my husband's also a teacher.
Yeah. So I taught for some years or whatever. I'm actually an early retired principal. So I was a principal for probably the last, 3 years on my own. And then I was a vice principal at a turnaround school so I'll say I'll be in administration for about 8 years.
Oh, wow. My husband, this not you was this about, but we're going to just talk about it.
Right.
My husband got promoted to being a vice principal. After 1 year, he quit. He's like, no.
Right.
He said, I'm good at, he said, nah. He said, I'm good at teaching. I'm good in the classroom. Like, that's what I'm good at. He said, all this other stuff, meet with these parents, talk about why your kid's bad. He said, I'm not here for this. Yeah. And so he literally quit their job and had them create him a new job where he's now a teacher coach. So he coaches other teachers and sits in their classrooms and helps them become better instructors. So he loves that.
Yeah, he probably knows some people I know out that ways. I went through a program that also has a base out in DC. So interesting.
Oh yeah, he definitely probably knows him. I might just have to text you his number so y'all can connect.
Sure. all day.
Yeah, sure.
Family discussion. I mean, before I decided to take a leave and give this thing a try full time, our family, we sat at the table and we discussed it. All 6 of us, even the baby. And
wow.
it was crazy because I was at the point where I was supposed to actually take another 4-year contract at a high school, at a different school, to start off for 4 years. And we talked about it, and it was a 5-1 vote. Our daughter Tatum was the only one that was just like, Daddy, you need to go to work. But everybody else was all in, so we knew we had to be all in. This is a part of our legacy, our life. So
that is so cool. So you can go ahead. Like, how did that happen? Like, did you ever dream of yourself being an entrepreneur? Like, how was it like stepping away from work and putting your all into something that you're creating?
So I had always served at really, schools that were under-resourced. Mm-hmm. So when you're drawn to schools like that, you have to be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Because you've got to be able to, finance the school. The school may not have dance lessons in the budget, and you got to figure out, okay, how am I going to go out and galvanize the community so that we can pull those resources together to make sure our kids have just common things that other kids have. It's really more so about doing it for the sake of equity. So Sylvia has a background that's more so on the corporate side, and our outlooks coming together, I think, is what's made us set a good foundation for the business, because I'm driven and passionate about like this idea of equity. So idea of equity is, for us, we want people to have products that make sense. So Sylvia's going to make me change the fruit, because whenever I tell this story, she always she cringes, right? Because I use a fruit that she doesn't agree with, that she doesn't think is appropriate. So for the sake of this,
the fruit is appropriate.
The fruit is appropriate.
It's people's
perception.
It's the colloquialism.
Okay.
Excuse me, colloquialism.
So, all right. So for this, what fruit should I use for an example?
The right one.
I can use the banana.
No.
Oh, I could say maybe something more bougie. Should I do dragon fruit?
Can you do?
Okay. Anyway, so this is a story. This is the story that I like to give about our product. If I'm in the kitchen and our 20-month-old Benji sees me eating a mango, and he's pointing at me and giving me the sign, letting me know that I better get him a piece or it's about to be an emergency, right? He's like, I need a piece of that mango. I need a piece of that fruit. Do I then go to the refrigerator and find the baby version of the mango, or do I give him a piece of the mango I'm eating? The reality is that the way that transaction happens, I'm going to give him a piece of the fruit, right? Just the fruit that I'm eating, because it's all natural, because it's organic, whatever the case may be. And that's not the sort of stance that we typically take when we look at regular consumer products. So why is there a baby version of this and an adult version of this and an eczema version, psoriasis version of this? When in actuality, if they have the right components, it should be all in one.
Yep. No, that makes so much sense.
And you know what? Just to add, not to take up all the time, but laundry detergent and doing laundry sounds really boring. But it's the thing that people don't think about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what kind of just had me into it. I'm like, wait a minute, nobody thinks about this right here.
Yep.
I definitely think about the beauty products. I'm looking every week online about something I'm trying to buy. But I'm like, I dread the laundry part because it's some extra work I don't feel like doing. However, again, it's like there's got to be an easier way and a more earth-friendly way to do those practical things. Because, we even see now with this whole, with the whole COVID and all this other thing, everything you do, even though you don't think it matters, affects somebody else, or it affects somebody else. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Who does the laundry in your household?
Me.
Okay. Who folds the best?
You know what?
Him. He hates folding, but I also hate folding.
Thank you. Thank you very
I'm
much.
like, I try to make deals. So I was like, listen, I will always wash the clothes if you always fold the clothes. You see how that goes together?
It's a delicate dance. I agree wholeheartedly. We're like, oh, God.
Sylvia's a germaphobe, though. That's what protects her household. You're the protector.
Yeah.
I think I'm the worker.
That's her job.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Now we will pause for a moment of meditation with Dr. Crystal Jones.
So wherever you are right now, Just take a moment to be. Be in your awareness. Be in your truth. Be in your wholeness. Allow yourself to show up as light, dark, and every shade of gray in between. Feeling your presence, experiencing your truth. Finding your breath. And instead of directing her, listen to her. Ask her where she wants to spend more time, and spend more time there. Ask her where she's stuck, and go into the experience of why. Be in this breath, be in this movement, and continue to cultivate this experience through the rest of your day. Honoring that your truth and whatever you show up as is always enough. You are perfection and excellence personified. Anything that tells you that you're anything else no longer serves you.
How are you guys? Are y'all still doing good?
Yes, we're doing great.
Okay, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And so the other day, I love crab cakes. And so there's this place in Baltimore I always go because Baltimore is known for their crab cakes. And so there's this place I walk in to get the crab cake, and there's this older guy checking us out. And I have gone there like 1,000 times. Like, I love this place. And so he's an older guy, and people are like treating him like with respect. And so I say, hey, do you own this crab cake place, Faley's? And he was like, no. He said, but I sleep with the owner, though. And I was like, oh, and I started laughing. He said, are you married? I said, yeah, I'm married. He said, my wife actually owns it. I work for her. And I just started laughing. And he said, you're married too, right? I said, yeah, I'm married. He said, then you know you the boss, actually.
I'm telling you.
So after he said that was so funny to me.
I'm Mr. Crab Cake.
That is
He said, I sleep with the owner, though. He didn't say it's my wife, I'm married to her. He said, I sleep with her. Oh, Lord, it was so funny to me.
I know you were completely taken aback at first. Like,
I was. And I was laughing so hard. Like, it was so funny to me.
That generation is so smooth. I'm taking that line. I'm going to use that line next time.
Yeah, it was so smooth because it took me like a second to put it together. But once I put it together, I was bawling so hard. I was like, now, sir, I need an extra crab cake for that. For that good joke. I need 3. I need 1 to take home.
Right.
Because it was such a good joke.
I would if he like flexed a little bit too while he did it. Like flexed his little tricep.
Man, it sounds like he did. So when you were reading the back of the bottles of the laundry detergent from the stores, did you ever call the number on the back and see what was actually inside of it? Yeah,
so I did actually call. So I called one particular brand's 1-800 number and got a voice recording. And then
gosh.
Yeah, got a voice recording. It just seemed like it was kind of like an automation, left my information, and then I never got a call back. And that was the moment, that was like an aha moment for me that was kind of scary in a way. You know, I think every person wants to protect their family. And in that moment, you know, you do feel a little powerless because you're saying to yourself, okay, I was almost programmed to train and use this stuff, which means that I'm thinking that I can count on transparency. And that just wasn't the case.
That's crazy. So what are the ingredients that you were nervous about? Well, you don't even know what was in it because they never picked it up. So there was nothing for you to actually even be nervous about.
On a different brand, they don't have they don't have the ingredients, and legally they don't have to. You don't have to list your ingredients on laundry detergent. However, some do it, some don't, but legally they don't have to, right? But there was one where you could go online to, download whatever was in there. But after you go through about 3 or 4 layers of links. You have to, figure out which product line, for example, that you were using. And then from there, they will list the ingredients. However, once I looked at that, I was like, okay, no, I'm doing the right thing. Again, hey, we've used them all. This is not to discredit or discount any other brand. However, in this day and age of information and, more information when it comes to what you're actually consuming and more scrutiny, it is important to really know what it is you're using, because a lot of those things do cause issues, physical issues. And it's something that we don't really pay attention to. We just kind of pay attention to, oh, this is what I can afford. This is, this is what fits my budget, or this is cheap, or it smells good. This is what I like. This is just what smells good.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me about the importance of products being cheap as being what drives people the most.
Yes.
And I wonder, where did that come from? Why are we looking for cheapness when it comes to the products we're selecting?
Yeah.
We wondered the same thing. And you know what? It's not to say that everything that's quality is or has to be expensive, right? I think it just puts people off initially because they don't feel like it's worth the investment. But it is worth the investment to go to XYZ coffee shop and spend $10 every day, for something that you will never see again after you consume it, right? That makes me feel good, makes me feel happy, whoever XYZ me is.
Or people would rather, spend a ton of cash on the cosmetics to cover up the eczema.
Right. Exactly.
Versus get at the root of the problem, which, I always like to tell this story about Takis. In terms of being that principal, and I used to see my kids, and I used to see them go to the corner store every morning before they came to school, and they would always buy a bag of Takis. And I just could never believe just how almost addictive, the brand was, the flavors, the colors, the things that they use, or whatever, the price point. So they buy a bag of Takis every single morning, scrape together their money, spend it, come to school late just to get a bag of Takis. So one day I asked a couple of kids, I said, well, do you know what's in it? And the kid turns the bag over and he's just like, I don't even know how to pronounce half of these words. I don't know any of this stuff. And for me, it was 2 things that really stood out to me. It was the fact that every single day I take my dollar and give it to somebody and I don't have any voice in that transaction. And it was also the fact that I am kind of unintentionally ignorant of the stuff that I'm putting in my body. And when you think about things like detergent, when you think about the foods that you eat, just basic sort of living needs, those are the things that sometimes we don't pay enough attention to, but that's the most practical stuff. And it's important for us to pay attention to those practical things. Yes, I want to wear a Gucci belt. I want you to see the Gucci symbol. Yes. I mean, not me personally, that's not necessarily my style, but I get wanting to spend your money on things that you can visually see. I understand that. I love sneakers. I get it. But at the same time, one thing my wife continues to teach me is you got to have substance, though. You got to have substance to take care of those practical needs.
And then I think something that's really interesting is that when you are looking at a label and you can't pronounce any of the ingredients, it really takes you going a step further that says, okay, I don't know what this stuff is. Am I going to go look it up? Yeah. And I think that's really important. We have to teach people that ask the question of what is it? Well, you don't know because it's something you're eating or something you're putting on your body. And so it's something that you have in your daily life to know what it is and what it does.
Right. And just to kind of pivot off of that, we noticed some of the foods that we were eating were causing flare-ups with the eczema.
Oh, wow.
All interconnected, really. Dairy no diss against the dairy. Hey, I love a good coffee with the heavy whip. Okay. But it is not good for me. I'm sluggish with it. I am gaining weight with it. I mean, not right now at this moment, but I'm working past it. Okay.
Exactly.
Like a little weight though.
Oh God, let's not go in there. So he's got me in a Nigerian fat house is pretty much what it is. Every time I lose weight, he comes back with a plate of food. I'm like, no, leave me alone. But no more children. So anyway.
Like I'm dying.
Right. But yeah, I mean, we have to start doing a better job, which is why we were so attracted to the Black and Green platform. Mm-hmm. It's important to be educated and not just passively consume.
Yes.
Exactly.
We demand quality with the stuff that makes us look good, right? Mm-hmm. But the stuff that we're ingesting, even there's a particular deodorant that I found on the Black and Green website. Can I shout out?
Yeah, go ahead, shout out, girl.
Honey Bunny, I love it. Apricot, I love the apricot smell. It's the bomb.
I know the Honey Bunny people like personally, so I know the wife, and it's funny. They're like y'all. It's a wife and a husband that run Honey Bunny, and they have their 2 little girls. That basically kind of run it too. Yeah. So, well, at least they run it on the back end or the front end, depending on how you pay attention to it. So I actually walk into because they have a physical store. I go into the store, I see them, and I see the kids, and like. They are really all about their stuff.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. You know what? Mm-hmm. When you believe in a product and you know the product is quality, it's not hard to do that. When you pick up the phone and you're trying to ask somebody what is in this and they never get back to you, that's a problem.
It's definitely a problem.
Yeah, it tells you a lot. It should be very telling. But again, we just, especially in our American consumeristic society, that's just what we do. Versace, love the look. Listen, I love a good designer bag. Okay. There is nothing wrong with it. It's something to aspire to. It's nothing wrong with wanting to look and smell good and spend the money or whatever. However, it's more about just making sure it's an educated purchase.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when it comes to things that will affect you physically. And
that's it.
Nobody really thinks about it until they're at the doctor's office and they figure out, okay, you've been using this thing and it's been linked to XYZ.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly the way it works. It's like you have to set priorities. Yeah. Like different things can be important to you. Oh, yeah. That's fine. But just make sure that this is also important to you.
Yes.
So you can make it a priority. So you can look up the ingredients and figure out what they actually do.
Right.
And so let's talk a little bit more about eczema. So as you were learning more about eczema, are there any other things that also lead to eczema that you have removed from your daily life or your routine?
Other than the diet,
I think some of the habits.
Some of our habits, yeah.
So for me, I run, pretty frequently. And, my wife used to always get on my case. She's just like, take those compression pants off and put those compression pans directly in the washing machine. And I'm just like, no, I can make some pancakes real quick.
Yeah,
and she's like, absolutely not. So, I mean, just things like that. If you've been sweating a lot, if that, you went out on the town and you've been using some fragrance or something like that or whatever, making sure when you get home, you get those clothes off your body and try to change out. Because that's been helpful for me. That's been something I've had to really take serious, given my own personal eczema flare-ups.
Even using some other more natural products is possible. Now we know everything doesn't work for everybody, right? I mean, you're gonna have somebody like, look, it's the middle of COVID-19. People are buying bleach. I mean, it is what it is. However, it's also more important to kind of it is a bit of work to try to figure out what it is that's affecting you. We didn't go the allergist route. I have a sister with extremely sensitive skin issues, meaning only water and baby soap. That's pretty much it's that sensitive. And, I think you should go to your allergist. I think you should, do all those good things, do your due diligence. But there is some things that you have to, kind of experiment on with yourself, unfortunately, because it is kind of a ongoing, still study type of thing. Even something might work for a while, and then your body gets used to it. You have to switch up to something else. But definitely going, I think the more green we go, the less dairy, the less certain types of food, even if it's a fruit, even though it might be good for you. Like, for instance, bananas. My son loves a banana. I love bananas, but it causes it causes his eczema to flare up. Happens every time. And it's perfectly healthy. Now, more organic without I did notice a difference between organic bananas and the ones that are, 19 cents a pound. Again, there we go with, this fits my budget, right? And
exactly.
It flare up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Well, thank you so much for you guys joining me today. I really appreciated our conversation. It was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And now I might keep using your detergent on my son's clothes.
Yeah. So I would say, son, I would say you guys, I would say we've got our sister-in-law brings up shout out to Ada, her puppy. So she comes up, they drive up from Mississippi to Chicago to come see us. And, we use it on her pet bedding. We've got other people that have pets. Cute. They use it on their pet bedding. It's all inclusive. So, no skin exclusions.
Thank you for tuning into the Black and Green Podcast. Did you have more questions for our special guest? Please leave your questions in the comment section. Also, check us out at BLK GRN.com. Please subscribe and comment. We love hearing from you. Until next time, buy black and live green.